Ooh, we're in that spooky time of the year again, so now is the perfect time to take a look at a horror film leading up to Halloween. And in this episode of Film Facts, we're going to be taking a look at a fantastic but often overlooked horror film, The Descent. You know, the movie about a cave filled with golems? So let's not waste any more time and get stuck in, because if you had questions like what inspirations helped director Neil Marshall create tension in this film, what's the story behind this film's two different endings, and does this film make me want to go explore some caves? Does it fuck? Especially now that I know there are golems down there. Fuck that. Anyway, we got the answers for ya. Oh, would you look at that? It's number 1. So, The Descent is a 2005 British horror film written and directed by Neil Marshall, who has worked on such projects as Dog Soldiers and the Hellboy remake. Probably not a great one to have on your record. As well as having directed several episodes for Black Sails, Game of Thrones, Constantine, Hannibal, Westworld and Lost in Space, the reboot TV show for Netflix, not the 90s movie adaptation, starring Space Joey from Friends. The film follows Sarah and her group of friends as they decide to take a break from life and have a spelunking adventure in North Carolina. This is also designed to help Sarah get back to normality after having tragically lost her husband and daughter in an accident. While down in the caves, the group encounters several cave-dwelling humanoid creatures that begin hunting and picking them off one by one. A sequel to this film was created, simply named The Descent Part 2, but you know, you might be better off doing something more productive with your time, like watching a puddle dry up. Number 2. After Neil Marshall had completed work on his film Dog Soldiers, the film had received somewhat of a moderate success, enough that Marshall had received multiple requests to direct more horror films. However, Marshall at first was hesitant to do another horror, as he did not want to be typecast as just another horror director. Eventually though, he agreed to work on The Descent, stating that it was a very different type of film. Marshall, however, decided not to have a mixed cast of men and women as was originally planned, and instead went for an all-female cast. Ooh, it's number 3. Although the film is set in North Carolina, the entire film was actually shot in the UK. The exterior scenes were filmed in Scotland, while the interior scenes were shot at Pinewood Studios. The crew decided to build the caves themselves, as it would have been too dangerous and too time consuming to shoot in actual caves. This also meant that the filmmakers had more control over the look of the cave. Neil Marshall stated that he wanted the cave itself to be a threat, as there are so many ways to die down there, such as drowning, sharp edges and falling from heights. The idea behind this was to keep increasing the tension and the pressure. As the women struggle through the cave itself, their situation gets worse when they discover that they aren't alone down there and they are being hunted by golems. Oh, number 4. The creatures in this film, known as the Crawlers, were inspired somewhat by Nosferatu. Neil Marshall on the Crawlers stated that he wanted to make the creatures as human as possible, because applying human logic or human behaviour to these creatures makes them more terrifying, as they could be operating on the same wavelength as you. It took about 3.5 hours to transform each actor into a crawler in makeup. The actors also had to shave off any body hair they had in order to play the role. The appearance of these creatures were kept secret from the main cast members right until they shot the first scene in which the creatures encounter them, in order to get some genuine fear out of the actors. Plus, you know, what harm can it do to scare the shit out of people?
Nah, probably.
I got 5 on it. Oh, copyright strike. Speaking of those creepy crawlers, on the explanation of the creatures, Neil Marshall described them as cavemen who had stayed underground. The idea behind the crawlers was that they had evolved over thousands of years to suit their environment, having stayed underground and evolving into another type of humanoid being. As such, the crawlers have lost their eyesight and their ears have grown much like a bat's, as they use sound to navigate their way around the caves and hunt prey. In this film, we see both male and female crawlers, as well as children crawlers. Marshall intended them to be a colony of sorts, and said that by having them all just males, it wouldn't make much sense, as he wanted the creatures to have a realistic context to them. Oh, don't believe it, it's number 6. To help build tension within the film, director Neil Marshall stated that he took inspiration from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Thing, and Deliverance. Marshall stated, "We really wanted to ramp up tension slowly, unlike all the American horror films you see now. They take it up to 11 in the first few minutes and they simply can't keep it up." Ooh, sick burn, Hollywood horror films of the 2000s. Take that, the past. Number 7, baby. Number 7. This film, The Descent, had a somewhat rival film named The Cave.
If you ever want to see the sun again, you should follow me now.
Which follows a group of cave divers and scientists who become trapped while exploring a cave system located in Romania, where they too encounter cave-dwelling monsters. During production of The Descent, the filmmakers became aware of the cave's presence, and so it became a race against time to speed up production and post-production in order to be able to release the film before The Cave. Unfortunately for The Descent, the film was released the same week in the UK as the 2005 London bombings, the effects of which considerably hurt the film's chances at the box office. You wanna know a secret? It's number 8. Here's a fun fact for you. I mean, you might not find it fun. Every actress in the main cast originates from a different country. Shauna MacDonald, who plays Sarah, was raised in Scotland and was born in Malaysia. Natalie Mendoza, who plays Juno, originally comes from Hong Kong. Alex Reed, who plays Beth, was born in England. Saskia Mulder, who plays Rebecca, is from the Netherlands. Mariana Buren, who plays Sam, is originally from Sweden before moving to the UK. And Nora Jane Noon, who plays Holly, comes from Ireland. Good heavens, number 9. The Descent had 2 different endings depending on whether you saw this movie in the United States or the UK. The US version ends with Sarah finally escaping the cave, getting into a car and driving off before finally pulling over and breaking down in tears, after which she is interrupted by a truck passing and vomits out the window right before she's caught off guard by a hallucination of a bloody Juno sitting next to her in the car. The UK version follows this series of events as well, but adds a little extra. After seeing the hallucination of Juno, Sarah wakes to find herself still in that fucking cave. She then sees her daughter, another hallucination, before we get a wide shot of Sarah surrounded by crawlers and no exit in sight. In an issue of Entertainment Weekly, it was reported that the ending was trimmed in the US because American viewers did not like the bleak, dark ending the film originally had. The original ending, however, would be featured on the DVD as an unrated cut in the United States. I say, old chap, it's number 10. The Descent premiered at the Edinburgh Horror Film Festival Dead by Dawn in 2005, after which it opened in cinemas across the UK later that year. The film received critical acclaim and made a decent amount, and you know what that means. Sequel time, bitches. The Descent Part 2 was directed by this film's editor John Harris and was his first and only movie he had directed. Unlike the first, however, The Descent Part 2 received mixed reviews. Well, there you go, 10 facts about The Descent. Hey, if you like this, then please do give this video a like, as it really does help us out a lot. And if you want to help out the channel some more, then why not consider subscribing and hitting the bell thingy to stay notified. And if you want more, then why not check out our other film facts videos. They cover both film and TV. But thanks for watching, guys.